Oops. Hi, Leather Rokk here. Welcome to my channel. That was Tabby Boy. This is Cassie. Today, I'm going to show you how I came up with this eye look using a brand new palette I just got from B&H Cosmetics. Palette's called Midnight City. And as you can see, it's very heavily on the neutrals. The only remotely what you would call brights would be this blue here. And this green here, I would not call bright, but it's it's got a certain brightness to it. It's kind of like a teal, but a very smoky. And you've got this orangey color here, but everything else we would definitely have to call a neutral. And this is what I came up with. And let's get started. Now, I believe in being clean, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to wash my hands because you're handling pussycats. Your hands are not sterile. So, and I hope Tabby Boy doesn't do something outside his litter box. He got mad at me the other day because I had the door barricaded and I had to clean up something. I hope I don't have to do that again because that's one thing I don't put up with is bad kitties doing things like that. All right. I'm looking for something to put my hair back in. No, I always think I'm prepared. And there's always something I forget. You know what? This isn't quite what I wanted to do, but I suppose it'll do. Maybe I should take these earrings out too. Okay. Now, got my trusty coconut oil. And you see I didn't even get a chopstick this time. I just went. Here, I use a Midnight City mirror. Yes, I hear you clawing at the door. Tabby Boy and Cassie got into a couple of confrontations. I don't believe they made contact, but she growled. Oh, she puffs herself up and she really does look fox-like, like those desert sand cats that are in, I don't know what country. For being 5 pounds, she really does look intimidating. But a couple times Tabby Boy chased her down the hall today. There's always somebody here, so nobody's worried about them getting violent with each other. And I mean, I think that they're getting along, but they're getting more used to each other. Cassie's been here since the end of August. This is now going to be the 19th of January. They need to get used to each other and they need to get along, and that's all there is to it. Boy, never quite get used to this film that just leaves over my eyes. Tabby Boy, what's the matter? You got kitty problems? Poor cat. These wipes really come in handy. I like to keep the gentle variety and the antibacterial variety. I wouldn't want to get the antibacterial variety near my face unless I had an incident involving a kitty paw. Alrighty. And I remembered a moist to cut the excess grease. I keep on forgetting to bring in the witch hazel I got. That would be really great next thing to put on there. Would you stop that? Excuse me, I have a bad cat. Here, go. You want to go? Go. There. If I don't let him out, he might do something I might regret. Alright, the first thing I'm going to do is, since I'm not going to go in the next room and get the witch hazel, is I'm going to get, this is a Colormates Compact Makeup palette. And this is really great if you don't want to deal with a liquid. Even though, wait a minute, no, that's not the one I should be using. That's not the one I should be using. I'm going to save that for the cut crease we're going to be doing later. I want to cover the area with the foundation I was using. This is the Maybelline Matte and Poreless Fit Me, and this is in the lightest shade I could find, number 102 Porcelain. And just going to use a tiny little bit, being careful not to smear it in my eyebrow color. Oh, in case you're wondering what I use for my eyebrows here. What I use for my eyebrows is a B&H Cosmetics liquid lipstick that I got a couple of years ago. And let me see if I can read it. I finally broke down and got something to help me read. Yeah. Let me see what the hell this says. You know what? I still can't read the damn label. Well, whatever. It was a liquid lip color. It was in a shade fairly close to my hair. And these things, I noticed that when you get them, you really need to use them up because they dry out in the tube soon. So they're probably not going to, not going to have to worry about them getting rancid because they'll get too dry to seem like they have a lot of stuff. And when they do that, if you have one that's the same color as your hair, you can use that for eyebrow color. So, and that's my secret to my eyebrows ever since I got the henna sensitivity. Otherwise I'd be using the purple henna. So, use this around. Where's my mirror again? Okay. I put things in the box here to make things easy for me. Alright. See, I don't like to bother with having you watch me put foundation on because that just takes up a whole lot of time. And really, do you have patience for that? And if I don't have the editing chops, why should I get you guys bored and then you're not going to have the patience to watch it? Alrighty. I can always add more foundation later. Alright, the first thing we're going to do with this, you want to see how I'm holding my brushes? This is from the Christmas Story, the leg lamp. And the first thing I'm going to use is I'm going to use this brush here, which is from a brand called VIVACE. I got it at the 99-cent store. And I am going to use the lightest shade that's in here. And I'm going to do all over, starting at the brow bone. Now one of the many critiques I have about this palette is this shade isn't really light enough to use as a brow bone. Oh, I don't want to mess. See, I almost messed with the color I already did. Doing this all over, and this is a little bit darker than my skin tone, so I wish that it was lighter. Okay, do that first. Then we are going to go for our lid color. And for the lid color, we are using this, the whitest, silveriest shade here. Everything else seems kind of warm. This is cool. Coat the brush with this. And you want to get it just on the lid. And you can carry it to here. You want to get some more. Matter of fact, you get a little bit higher, but not really beyond that, because you're going to be covering all this. Well, some of this you're going to be covering. Okay. Next thing we're going to do, now I want to make sure I'm getting the right brush. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to dip into this orangish kind of adobe kind of color. And we're going to be careful. Oh, let me show you the kind of brush I'm using. This is another brush from Vivace, V-I-V-A-C-E. And, oh, I beg your pardon. No, this is an ELF brush, E-L-F. But as you can see, it's stained with hair dye. So I'm going to touch this very carefully into the orangey shade. And I'm going to tap off the excess. And I'm going to go just over the crease. See why it was important to have that powder on underneath? Because I didn't want this to stick too much. And I just want to sweep, 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 blend, blend, blend. This is where blending is very key. You're going for subtle, especially if you're a real pale skin person like myself, because this is obviously has a lot of contrast. See? Okay. Now, next thing we're going to do is, let me look for my brush for, oh, next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a blended cut crease. And in order to cut the crease, we need a sticky, pale foundation to apply to the eyelid. And this is what I'm going to use, the Colormates Compact Makeup in the lightest shade I could find. And this, I'm not using a brush. I'm actually using a sponge applicator. I wanted something small. I got to get out of the habit of putting things with magnets on it on my computer because the hard drive's right there, and that's very stupid. Okay, you've never made a cut crease before. You look now, especially if you have a hooded lid, you're going to go a little bit past the hood and onto the crease itself. Going to go from the corner to just past the crease. If it starts to get dry, go back into the compact and add more. So you could see only the tiniest little bit of that orange. And you're going to kind of wing it out so it should go like a cat eye. This should be tacky. And only a little halo of that orange should be showing. Now, do you see that? Okay. Put this back. Now, this is the brush that I'm going to use for the blue. Now, this time we have to be kind of careful. I chose this brush. Let me show it to you. This is from Vivace. Got it at the dollar store. I chose this brush because it's fluffy, it will deposit, but it kind of goes a little bit to a point. So if you want to get just a little area for a crease, this is a good brush for this. And just tip on both sides. That's all you need to do at first. Tap off the excess to minimize the fallout underneath. And I'm going to start at the crease, trying to be as close to exactly where I started with that foundation. And then I'm going to go down. So I'm kind of like exactly covering it. Then I can sweep. You know what? Now I think I could get a little bit more. I don't want, the idea is to not extend too far. I don't want to cover the lid. Here, maybe tap the excess. Not get too much in the corner here. Okay, now we need to get a brush so that we can blend. I'm not sure. See, that's why I thought I had an extra brush up there, and I couldn't tell what color it was supposed to go to. Get a clean brush you use just to blend. Now, usually when people do a cut crease, they don't blend near that area because the whole idea of the cut crease is so that you can have a clear line of demarcation between one color and a contrasting color, but not always. And another reason why I'm blending with this blue is because blues can get really veering toward obnoxious if you don't blend them. And as much as I am a fan of bright eyeshadow, even I don't want it to look obnoxious. Okay, now let's go over the lid with the pale color that was on it. And let me find the brush. I think this was it. It's like a silvery white color. And especially, let's cover up some of that blue. Starting at the corner. Now, if it starts to mix in with the blue, clean it off on your hand. Then dip back into the shade. And you want to kind of make sure that it doesn't look greenish in here, even though we are going to dip into green. Okay, carry this all the way to the side. You know what? Let's dip a little bit more into the blue, because I don't want it to look green over here. But just let's make sure not to get it past, let's not really get it onto the lid. I just want to keep it in the crease. This blue is my favorite shade in this palette. This blue would be a really great shade for a sports car. It's kind of like a sports car acid trip blue. That trick paint job. Now, if this weren't glittery, well, it's not quite glittery, but it is very frosty. If it didn't have this frosty shimmer to it, it wouldn't work. But because it has this shimmer to it. All right, now here's what we're going to do that's kind of unexpected. We're going to take this brush from Vivace. Here, let me put these back. And we're going to do a little bit on the lid. Here, we're just going to touch this. Tap, tap, one side, get the excess, because we only want a hint of the green. And we're going to take just this part, curve it a little bit. Wipe off the excess, because we really don't want too much here. And blend it to the corner. It's really crucial not to have too much green, because you see how dark it is. Let me show you what it looks like when you swatch it. That's real dark. We don't want a color payoff like that at all. That's why I made sure to have plenty of that frosty white silvery color on the lid first. Blend this to a corner, have it exactly a perfect angle. And be aware, if you see where your eyebrow ends here, you shouldn't have your shadow go lower and out like that. So try to be aware what the angle is. And try to see if the sides match. If not, blend. And you can use the brush now. Usually you shouldn't use a black brush from other eyeshadows to blend. You should use a separate clean brush. But now it's okay to go back into the brush, any lid color, coat that again, start it here, and go onto here to help to blend that green up, because you really don't want it to be too obvious. You want it, you want to, when you look at this look, you want to really notice the blue first. You don't want to notice the blue and the green. The green is more of an afterthought. The green, in my case, I chose it because my eyes are actually green, and if I add a little bit of blue to it, it would pick up the green in my eyes. That's why I did this. Okay? So, then we're going to take the blue, and this is a look that I did not apply eyeliner. I deliberately chose not to do an eyeliner, even though I'm a big eyeliner person. And, oh, it's a real good idea. Here's an idea that I have. This only works if you have the really, really pale skin like me. Take this brush, dip it into the lightest color, sweep it underneath your eyes, kind of lightly, because you know you had foundation already. Then you dip this into the blue very lightly, tap the thing off, go very carefully along your lower lash line. You really don't want to have fallout underneath here if this doesn't match. See? Now, you want to make sure that there is a line going this way. It's going straight. Have this going the same angle. You really want to make sure your eyes match. Actually, you know what? It would have been better to have. I thought I had a real... Oh, okay. I beg your pardon. This is a brush I use for that, because you want something that you can get a fine line. Now, I'll do this again. You see what the difference is? This is a brush you want to have. See? Fine line. Just... Okay. Now, time for the mascara. Oh, okay. This is... I'm really not impressed with this. I have been trying one crappy mascara after another. This is from Wet n Wild. It's the Mega Plump. And this, let me tell you, I've had to put layer after layer after layer after layer. And it's really, it doesn't have much thickness to it at all. I had to put so many coats on, it isn't even funny. Oh, great. I'll have to clean that up. I seriously have 6 open mascara tubes right now, and most of them really suck. The one I like the most is finally starting to dry out because it's getting old, and it is a B&H Cosmetics Mascara that they have not had for sale in a couple of years. If I had known how good it was when I first got it, I would have gotten more than one, but I would never take my chance on getting more than one of something when I haven't tried it before, especially mascaras. And this is so hard to get anything on the bottom lash without getting it smeared. And it's not waterproof either, but for the purposes of this tutorial, I don't need a waterproof mascara. Matter of fact, I hate it when you get them and they say they're waterproof and they're not. I think I have to do a video about a whole bunch of sucky mascaras. Yeah. I'd rather have good things to say. I would like to have products that work. Wouldn't we all? Okay, I'm probably going to put more before this is over. Now, because that orange color is on here and it really makes this too dark for me, we're going to lighten this up. And for that, I'm going to use a thin brush like this, and I'm going to go back on the silvery color, and I'm going to get up on the brow bone near this. Now, because I started to sweep over the other one accidentally, I'm going to go back over here too, and just spot where at the edge where the eyebrow color is. What this will do is this will counteract a little bit of the orangey adobe color. So now if you've got real dark skin to begin with, you might be able to skip this step, but this is for the palest skin people watching this, because the whole idea is to have something where the highlight parts look kind of believable, similar to your skin tone. And especially if you're a cool tone skin, and that orangey color brought such a warmth to it that is unnatural if you are a cool toned. Oh, I want to clean up that green smudge. And then gonna have to put a little bit more of this on. Then my contour and my cheek color and my lip color. Oh, did I just do that? Of course, when you see how I've got dark green eyeshadow all over, is it too much of a surprise? All right. I don't know why my forehead's looking pink. Doesn't make any sense. Okay. Okay. This is the. Oh, I hope I didn't drop anything from this. All right. This is contour color that I have been using for, I guess, the past year or so. This is actually an eyeshadow. This is a CoverGirl Professional Eye Enhancers, and the color is called Jammin Improvisation. And as you can see, it's a very cool toned matte plum color. And I'm using a very cheap miniature eyeshadow, not eyeshadow, blush brush. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and use my hands to blend this. Now, for my cheek color, I'm going to dip into the B&H Cosmetics Special Occasion. It's a 39 color eyeshadow and blush palette. And I got this mostly for the cheek colors then, for the blushes. And I think to counteract the blue nicely, I'm going to use the paler of the pink colors. And this has a lot of fallout. For the highlight, I'm going to use the B&H Cosmetics BlackLight Highlight palette. I can't say enough about this. They have 6 options. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and use the blue. And this, for the brush, I'm going to actually use what's supposed to be a foundation brush. And this is from Vivace, Vivace. It's got a nice little point to it that I could just swirl it and look for where the light hits my cheeks. Tap, 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 tap. Swirl it again. Light hits my cheeks here. If you aren't careful with these can go into headlight blinding very easily. I like to do a little around the cheek, around the cupid's bow. Oh, if you wondered what made my lips shiny when I first came on camera, I used vitamin E oil. I like to use a little on my chin. I like to use a little bit more here. And I don't like to touch the tip of the nose because that gets too much attention to your nose. I like to do just a bridge, a little line like this. A little bit here, and a little bit here. And if I didn't come off, there, a little here, a little bit here. Sometimes, to give it a multi-dimensional look, I'll go into the pink here, and I'll go ahead. And I'll do this again, do this again, do this again, but I'll skip this because I'm about to do the lip color. And for the lip color, I'm using one of my new lip colors I got from B&H Cosmetics. This is the liquid B&H liquid lipsticks, and this is in the color Agatha. What do you think? Okay. Well, this is my look thanks to the new palette called Midnight City. I am not going to be loving this as one of my favorites, I can tell you that right now, because the blue color is really the only color I really am thrilled with. And I wish that we had some even paler colors to balance out all these dark things. Maybe this is more ideal for, more versatile for people that have darker skin tones. But I do love the blue. That is quite lovely. So, if you like this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you like me and my content, I'd love to have you subscribe. I make content 3 times a week, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays for your viewing pleasure. Oh, what do you think of this necklace? I got it last week. I think it is absolutely heavenly. You see, it's very fragile, but you can do it a lot of different ways. It actually is just a straight piece. You can knot it, but these do not have knots in between the beads, so it is extremely fragile. And I don't know how long I'll be able to have it before it starts tarnishing. But I think it looks like it's worth a lot of money. and it wasn't. It was very cheap. Okay, so if you like my channel, please subscribe. Hit the bell so you don't miss anything. And until then, talk to you soon. Bye.